Overwatch 2 drama, everybody's favorite topic. You won't believe this, by the way. It's so crazy. So Blizzard have decided to give us the ages of the Overwatch 2 heroes. Now, in typical Blizzard fashion, they were like, oh, look at what we've got here. Some new lore for you. Only it's got a ton of inconsistencies that for some reason we weren't able to work out ourselves. And the internet, literally within 10 seconds, were like, no, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. What are you actually doing, Blizzard? And this brings us back to the age-old question of, well, what the actual hell are you doing with this game, Blizzard? Anyway, let's move on because this is it's so funny. This is like quintessential Overwatch drama. It's peak Overwatch drama. You can't get any more peak than this. Okay, take a look at this. So this is the heroes and their ages. This is taken from Overwatch Cavalry, which is, you may as well follow this account instead of the official account because it gives you more information about the game. It's basically like an account which recycles the posts from the official I guess Twitter account, but also any kind of official stuff which comes out, they generally put it into a more digestible format. Hence, they do a better job than Blizzard at promoting their own game. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So what we've got here is all the ages of the heroes. Now, there are some funny things here. Like, obviously, you can see Ilyari is the youngest hero, 18. Sigma's the oldest at 64. Again, nice graphic design work there from Overwatch Cavalry. But then you've got things like Anna. I think most people probably thought Anna was older than Sigma, but she's not. You know, she's only 62. Sigma's 64. There are some funny things, like Roadhog is 50. I don't think anybody would have guessed that Roadhog would be 50 years old. Now, this is where it gets worrying. This is like, we're worried now. We're really worried because Ball is 16. Now, he's a hamster. Now, we know he's a hamster that is genetically modified, but I mean, he's got to be near the end of his life. Also, what's worrying is Gorillas. I mean, Winston's 31. He ain't got much left. He's nearly on death's door as well. So I'm super worried. Also, Reaper being 60 and the Edgelord is kind of funny. But yeah, right? So there's some cool stuff here. You got like Junkrat's birthday's on a leap year. You've got Zen. You can't quite see him, guys. He's behind me, but he's 33, born July the 14th. No heroes were born in August, which is kind of weird. You think they would do that, you know, just to represent every month. However, probably the next hero, who's probably Mauga. Let's take your bets now, ladies and gentlemen. He's probably born in August, right? I would be surprised if he's not, or whoever that hero turns out to be. So, yeah, cool. Also, Orisa, bit weird that she's won because, like, you know, Orisa has been in the game for a few years now, our time, but also in the game world. And I think 2 years have passed since the start of Overwatch, I think. Even though I might be getting confused here. But Orisa should be older than 1 unless she was literally rebuilt for Overwatch 2, which you could argue, yeah, she has been rebuilt because now she throws a javelin, spins a spear. She's a completely different, oppressive hero. Anyway, let's move on. Right, so cool stuff there. Like it, good work. Okay, let's take a look at some of the inconsistencies because honestly, guys, this will make you laugh. It's so funny. Like, it's great. It's so funny. So this image here, as the article says here from Kotaku, so we're told Genji and Hanzo are 37 and 40 years old by Blizzard. That's their current age in the game. While respectively, Kiriko is actually 21 years old, which, okay, fair enough. But then when you look at this image, you can see even the author here says, you expect me to believe there are nearly 20 years of difference between these characters, but Kiriko looks young and could reasonably sort of be under 10 here. But you expect me to believe that Hanzo is pushing 30 in this image? Or even like Genji there would be in his 20s? Like, this is like, and again, remember in this origin story, they were like put forward as childhood friends. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Kiriko should be 30. Like, she should be 31, not 21. But that doesn't really fit with their type of marketing they went for with Kiriko. 21 makes a bit more sense. And also, she would be the most annoying 31-year-old on the planet. She's literally the most annoying hero in the game anyway. Her voice lines really is super annoying. But yeah, I think that's probably the reason why she's just 21 and not 31. They basically turned her into a Zoomer. And maybe that's part of their marketing strategy. Who knows? But is that working? I don't know. Anyway, I want to go over to this website now. This is Attack of the Fanboy. And again, you see more of these things from Twitter. And it's just like, I mean, look at this image there. Like, you're supposed to believe that Genji's in his mid-20s. Well, not in his mid-20s, just in his 20s in this picture. I mean, it looks like he's about 12. You know, it's like, that don't make any sense. But again, this is the issue with all of the Overwatch lore-related stuff. If you forget Overwatch 1 existed, or in fact just forget any lore up until when they actually drop lore, then it all makes sense. I can only imagine they have to go through some sort of approval process, which just or it takes so long to make changes that none of it makes any sense. Anyway, this is the next one we're going to move on to. So Sojin, this is quite interesting. So Sojin is 47, but the time the Omnic crisis started, her twin sister's daughter was 5 years old. And we now know the crisis started 28 years ago, which means Valentine was 14 when she gave birth to Bonnie. Now, that could happen, I suppose, but that's bloody young, right? And there would be all kinds of problems with that, right? That is bad. What the hell are you doing, Blizzard? It makes no sense, right? Terrible. Sojin cannot be 47. I am so sorry, but she was allegedly already a military officer when the crisis started 30 years ago. Be so serious with these ages, Blizzard. Right? So yeah, at 17, she's in the army and is already some ranking officer. It doesn't make any sense. Again, let's take a look at the Kiriko issue. So look at the age groups. This image, I showed this in a recent video when I just kind of glossed over this issue, but like, look at it. Kiriko's 5 here, Hanzo's 25, and then Genji's like, what, 21? It don't make any sense. It actually doesn't make any sense. Like, the 5-year-old could not train with them, but Genji does not look 21 here. It's mental. Okay, let's take a look at this then. So, it just gets worse. The more you dig into this, it just gets worse. And it's like, what the hell is actually going on with this game? It's crazy. So, this image here, the post says, with all the discussion around ages, this photograph always bothered me. Why do Soldier and Anna look like they've aged decades, but Tracer, Cassidy, and others look the same age now? A valid question, right? Because, you can say stuff like, okay, maybe there's like, well, Soldier... he's like a super soldier, isn't he? He's things have happened to his body, so maybe he ages a little bit less, right? So I guess we could explain that away like that. Tracer travels through time to some extent, she did before a chrono thing went to... See, even I don't know what the law is. A chrono thing collapsed, and then she can rewind time, right? So there's a time component there. So okay, it makes a bit of sense. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. The post then goes on to say, when was this supposed to be taken? Soldier and Anna look quite young, but Tracer, Cassidy, and most of the others look like they haven't aged a single day. Let's just say they've got better healthcare in 2070. Don't know. Is that even the year still in Overwatch? I don't even know. Anyway, let's move on. So then we've got this, right? More stuff. The Overwatch birthdays don't make sense. Now, this one, this will make you laugh. So this is Mercy and it's Farah. So Mercy's 39 and Farah is 34. And this post says, I'm genuinely concerned. There's a picture of them together when Farah was a child. Didn't Mercy join Overwatch in her early 20s? Like this entire time, I thought she was older. I'm almost convinced that Blizzard just doesn't care and just made up some numbers. Kiriko has the worst birthday. It's actually painful to look at. Edit. You're telling me no one was getting it on during Thanksgiving? I call BS. Where are the August birthdays? Now, this is the image they're talking about. Now, in this image, are you... so let's just go over this again, right? Mercy's 39, Farah is 34. And in this image, are you trying to tell me there's a 5-year age gap between Mercy and between Farah? It's a bit hard to believe, isn't it? But this is the thing. Overwatch, it's a game that's been it's been worked on for years, and the law was even cancelled. There was this thing called First Strike. Hang on, was it First Strike? I think it was. Let me Google this. It was cancelled. Yeah, so this was supposed to be First Strike. This was cancelled. And there are some little bits you can see on this. Obviously, the design of the heroes looks a little bit different. You've got, I think this is meant to be Mina Liao at the bottom, with potentially the older version of Echo. I don't know. But, or maybe even that's Aurora. I'm not sure. Again, we don't know anything what was in this. But the lore was literally cancelled. That's the point I'm trying to get at. So it's all over the place, right? And Overwatch suffers from this. It's this world where everybody loves the heroes in Overwatch. But the problem is, Blizzard are just they just make arbitrary changes. So if you look, if we go, let's just go back to this because this will make sense. So looking at this, right, Mercy shouldn't be the age she is. She shouldn't be 39. She should be a little bit older, right? But if we put Mercy, let's say, at 49, right? Well, does that reduce Mercy's likability as a hero. Because, hey, let's have Mercy in her late 30s. Maybe that's all Blizzard think, you know? Like I said, with Kiriko, it's like, well, okay, everything about her is Zoomer energy. So, and it's the most like frustrating Zoomer energy. She's got to be 21. Hang on. But that don't make sense, guys. Like you can imagine them sitting down going, that don't make sense because she needs to be older. She needs to be like in her 30s, guys. And they're like, no. But we're like, guys, we've already put stuff out that shows Genji and Hanzo with her, so she has to be older. No. But just trust us, guys. Trust us. And then that's when you end up with this. And it's like, okay, now she's 21, but really should be 31. Now the question is, does any of this matter? It's just funny to talk about Overwatch when it gets things so catastrophically wrong. And the reality is of this situation, I think, for me personally, I've had a bit of a mental reset through playing some of the games that have come out recently, notably Baldur's Gate 3, which actually one of the writers for Baldur's Gate 3 does work on Overwatch 2. So I don't know what's happened there. But the thing is, like, being exposed to such like a polished product in terms of its story delivery, and just obviously the game plays great as well, but the way the story is put together in the game, the voice acting, the dialogue, everything, the world building, the character building, it's absolutely incredible. Blizzard is a company that is about to be bought out by $1 trillion company in Microsoft. Blizzard itself, Activision Blizzard, is a company that is worth billions and billions and billions on the stock market. It shouldn't be making these mistakes. I mean, like, okay, you can say I'm being a bit harsh here, going, well, you know, let's just rag on them from every inconsistency. But the thing is, right, this is Blizzard, and in the past, Blizzard were held up to a high standard of they only released things when they were finished, and they released things and they all made sense. There was no like catastrophic problems with them. The problem we've got now is Blizzard have very much transitioned into a company that is just, it's become a content production house, right? It does use a lot of other external companies to make bits of content to plug into its games, but you know, the bulk of it is done in-house. The direction is definitely done in-house, but it's now a company that is just designed as a content pump, you know? It's a content farm for their properties that they've got. And we've seen this the worst when it comes to Overwatch, because Overwatch very much is that it's at that moment where Blizzard pivoted from a company that did give you a sort of final finished product and were there for the gamer. You know, they were trying to make a game that was fun first and foremost, and you had a great time playing it, and therefore you wanted to invest in expansions and things like that and switch that up to the live service model, which, you know, you can debate that forever and say live service probably was a way they needed to go. Free to play probably was a way they needed to go. But the way they did it is they literally, well, they just went down the worst possible, cheapest path of doing it. There was no innovation in their battle pass. There was no innovation in their monetization. There were high prices. None of it made any sense. And it was the jarring impact of seeing Overwatch transition to Overwatch 2, which is just that movement from releasing quality to releasing everything all of the time. And if there's mistakes, it doesn't matter because next week we've got another update coming out. Probably people will forget about it. This has always been my issue with the game. Like, I don't know where this game goes in the future if they keep making mistakes all the time and there's problems with content and there's problems with, you know, like even PvE right now. If you guys try and queue for PvE, there is like the queue, there's just nobody playing it. I mean, it's got no replayability. Blizzard were trying to say this isn't Archives 2 or Archives Plus when it absolutely is. It has no replayability. And I don't know, what was the impact on that financially? Will they do more of that? Will they change? Can they change? Have they retooled their team in such a way where this is the way Overwatch will be now for the future? Does it make enough money? What will happen when Microsoft come on board? All these questions, right? There's so much stuff going on with Overwatch when you think about it. But what really gets me is at the end of the day, the game still is enjoyable. I mean, I still enjoy playing the game. I've really enjoyed playing Iliari. I apologize for butchering her name. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. But she's a fantastic hero. I think she's one of the best heroes they've added for a long time to the game. You know, it's personal preference, but they still do get things right. But like, yeah, when they get things wrong, it's almost like they're amateur mistakes. And I guess maybe they might be. You know, there's such a lot of turnover in the team. You see people leaving, I don't want to say almost every week, but there are a lot of people leave. In fact, people left from the narrative team recently. It's like, how do you replace people? If you're Blizzard, this is complete speculation, by the way, but if you're Blizzard, how do you actually attract good talent now? You know, you think of, you want to get like a designer in on to work on an aspect of your game, like an environment designer, sound designer, whatever. And you're Blizzard. And yeah, people look at your history, people look at the quality of your current products, and they think, actually, I might be a senior sound designer, but I'm going to go to Bungie instead, or I'm going to go to Riot. So then what do Blizzard do? They have to get a junior and then somehow promote them to a senior, or I'm not entirely sure how any of this works. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. But I see this as a major problem. And what we're starting to see now is a knock-on effect of this, where Blizzard are really like suffering from the quality is just sort of gone. But the thing is, it's gone from the top. Like, they're not taking their time to actually develop stuff. They're just producing it and shoving it out. And it's like, yeah, we've got all these content streams. Like, if you look at Overwatch right now, you've got the content streams of, like, you've got the hero mastery. Oh, so we're going to get hero mastery missions. Like, they're going to be used as like a main bit of an update. What, are we going to get them every season? Are we going to get 2 of them every season or every other season? You've got a hero, okay. You've got the limited time modes, which most of them have been kind of crap, to be honest. Again, there's better modes in the workshop than what there is in that Blizzard have actually made. It makes no sense. It just goes on and on and on. It's like they flood us with content. I mean, there was that famous thing, wasn't there? I'll bring it up, actually, of the there was the roadmap, wasn't there, for Invasion. Let me show. Okay, here we go. There we go. So you look at this and you're like, oh, there's just so much stuff here. This is literally blowing my mind. You know, you're like, wow, there's a new hero. There's the Invasion story missions. There's 3 of them. There's hero mastery coming. And it's not all been added to the game just yet, but it's still coming. New player progression system. Yeah. New Invasion Battle Pass. Oh, that's below me, by the way. Overwatch Invasion Ultimate Bundle. Yeah. Overwatch Invasion Bundle. Okay. Magic and Mischief coming back. Star Watch coming back. Battle for Olympus recycle content coming back. Overwatch Anniversary. Yeah, let's just recycle. New Flashpoint maps. It's like new Flashpoint game mode. Like, they flood you with stuff and you think, but really, what is actually here? Now, I have ended the video on a bit of a ramble, I will be honest, but this is a question I'm going to throw to you guys. Overwatch 2 right now, it's got problems, obviously, like with the thing is, like, so the thing with Overwatch, yeah, screw it, I'm just going to rant because I think as like a product, it's just terrible. Like, as a game, so there's a distinction I want to make here. Maybe this is the heat driving me crazy in the UK at the moment, I don't know. It shouldn't be because I've got air conditioning, but I'm mental. So you've got a product, right? Which is the game is in the middle of that, but everything else around it. So your monetization, you know, your update strategy, your esports, you know, everything else, your animated shorts, your marketing, I don't know, everything plugged in. Now the game, banging, right? I think there's nothing like Overwatch 2. Unless somebody releases a game similar to it, then there really will be shitting bricks because I'll be like, well, someone else has released a very strong hero class-based shooter, and like, that isn't Valorant, by the way, because that's a tactical shooter, although I know there's a lot of abilities. Remember, abilities don't kill Valorant. But, you know, if someone released something similar with a strong IP, Blizzard, then, you know, they could have a problem. So it's almost like they've got an audience, and they can be blasé about it, and they can spend time trying to transition and trying to sort of make the product better, but they're obviously not doing that. So, yeah, the issue is, core game, still unique, still really strong. But then around it is the packaging of the product. And this is where we get a ton of issues because you've got things like the esport element of Overwatch. Now, I honestly, hand over heart, believe this should have just been allowed to grow. It was growing really well. If you guys go back further enough and you look at the Apex stuff, you look at the Alienware Monthly Melee, these things were growing the scene, especially Apex, and it was incredible. Like, I remember waking up in the morning, first thing I'd do is I'd turn on the stream, because obviously it was from Korea, so I'd watch about 10 or 11, I think, in the morning UK time. Amazing stuff. It was incredible. It could have just been left to grow. There was a couple of, you know, Western competitions as well were set up. Notably, remember, Envy went over to Apex and actually won the first foreign team to win, which was like crazy. Good times there. But Overwatch League obviously came about because Bobby wanted to make a load of money really fast. And forcing an esport never really works. And again, Blizzard have got a terrible history of this. And again, it hasn't really worked. And we're seeing a lot of, you know, you see a lot of, like, honestly quite sad tweets from people working on Overwatch League, you know, knowing it's coming to an end. And yeah, it is coming to an end. And it is genuinely sad. I hope those people can still continue to do their jobs next year in whatever form that may be. Now, there is sort of word that Blizzard are looking to ESL to host some sort of, I don't know, tournament circuit or something next year. Again, we don't know what that's going to look like, but I don't think there's going to be an Overwatch League as we know it. Well, there isn't. There is not going to be an Overwatch League as we know it next year. but there is probably still going to be something called Overwatch League. I can't see them totally dropping the branding, but maybe they will. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is the packaging's crap, right? The monetization's crap. The progression system is sort of getting there, but again, these are things that were removed from Overwatch 1 only to be re-added back into the game. Most notably, recently, we've got the discussion around competitive. They're looking at ways of maybe showing us SR, maybe showing us more granular data, maybe giving us updates after every game. These were things that happened in Overwatch 1. This isn't like rocket science. This isn't some new innovation. It's literally bollocks. That is being added back into the game. Competitive is its whole own issue as well. Obviously, recently, Blizzard have been talking about that. Blizzard want to try and fix that, but nothing will be happening until next year, most likely. Probably in the middle of next year, if anything does happen. So again, it's this issue with the packaging, isn't it? It's like your game is good, but your systems around it, they leave a lot to be desired. I don't know where this game goes in the future. I almost feel like, and obviously I look around at a lot of, what other content creators are doing, what other streamers are doing, what people are doing on TikTok, just what community are thinking, what people say on the comments to my videos, because, there'll be thousands of comments across the videos on my channel, especially recent videos. And you can really see, and it's like, this was a moment where Blizzard had a chance to make an impact with Overwatch 2. This invasion, it was it. It was the launch of the game. It was like, this is, bang, we're going to drop all of this stuff and it's going to be great. But honestly, it fell kind of flat. Now, they're going to be scrambling to try and get their, audience re-engaged in the game. I just want to show you this one last thing. Let me just bring this up. Yeah, I've shown you this before, guys, but I'm going to show it you again. It is the Steam DB, because I want to show you something there, because this will show you the sort of stabilization, at least on Steam. Now, at the moment, we're at peak user time. Well, we're getting towards peak user time, right? So you can see it's kind of getting up there. So it always peaks around about 2 UTC, and then it starts to drop down. This graph is okay, these numbers are fine, but if you come down here, you'll see something which has happened. So when the game launched, it managed to get 75,000, which, I famously said I thought this was going to get upwards of 100,000, but it didn't actually manage that. Then it started to drop off, right? Drop off. Now here, this is when we've just had a mid-season update with the Hero Mastery stuff. This is the first big update that's hit the game since the game actually launched on Steam. And it doesn't really seem to have done anything. Now, there is some good news here, if you want to look for good news in sort of bad news, that this is stabilized now. And it looks like we basically get about 30K as the peak. And yeah, the lows sort of dropped around by 11,000, let's say. I don't think it quite goes down as low as that. No, it doesn't quite hit 11,000, but it drops down. But that's it. This is where the game is. And it's like, how long will the game continue? Like, where is the moment where the game can recapture its audience? Like, if you look at Apex Legends, right, they have got like a really, like, this will be eye-opening when I show you guys this. So if I bring up the where's the chart? Yeah, so if I bring up the chart, look at this lifetime player count. Now let's look at this over 3 years. In fact, let's just do all. So obviously only goes back to 2020 when the game launched. But look at this, right? You can see this is like, obviously, it's always been higher than Overwatch, but you've got to remember Overwatch is playable on Battle.net, and this is only taking PC players into account. But like looking at this, right, you can see there are little dips, right? But this, what is it? Over time, it is an upward trend. To today, we've got 412,000 people, right, that are literally playing. Well, there's 400,000 playing at the moment. But when the game launched, there was only 116,000. Look at this. It's literally doubled in 2 years, effectively. Can Overwatch do that? That's my question. I mean, without some sort of massive, I don't know, like rejuvenation of the game, I can't see that happening, because I don't know, like they must be having these discussions. Unless Invasion has done massively well and just nobody plays the game on Steam, then me comparing all those stats, it's kind of flawed. It's interesting food for thought though, isn't it? Anyway, I've gone completely off the rails towards the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching the videos that I've been putting on the channel as well. Means the world to me. And also leave a comment below and let me know what you think about all the situation, and especially the hero age drama. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.